We have an exciting episode for you today. I'm with the filmmaker Asif Akbar, and he's joined with the co-writer and star Vince E. McDaniel. Gentlemen, I love your film. Thank you so much for sending it over and allowing me to have a sneak preview of it firsthand. How are you doing?
We're doing well, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. Bonsoir. I'm in Paris right now. So, where in the world are you?
We're in Los Angeles.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's just jump right into it. It's a very important topic, a heavy topic, and it's amazing as filmmakers, storytellers, creators, we get to push the needle and tell stories in new ways that are very sensitive, especially with the tone of what we're speaking about. The demographic of my show is 18 to 24-year-old females, so I think it's very apropos. I mean, she's all over the place. I've traveled the world. A lot of my listeners, they're, artists, entrepreneurs, travelers. And so I think they're really going to enjoy this film and understand. For me, when I was watching, I'm like, oh, this is like an extra awareness, like no matter where you are, no matter where you are in the film. So excited to get deep into it with y'all. But let's just start with the opening song, like it is so cool. It's so moving. And what was the process of finding the artist for the opening? Because it sets the tone for the whole film. How was that selection for you?
Well, that song actually came through our music supervisor, Sean, and we actually were, basically looking for different songs that could fit the opening title sequence. And you're right. I mean, it sets the tone for the film, and we wanted to humanize the victims and the skeletons that you see being dug up in that opening intro sequence. And we needed a voice and a song that would connect those skeletons to being human and connect them with the audience and humanize them. So I'm glad it did the job. And you were one of the first few people that gave us the feedback on that, so thank you, and it seems like it worked.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And then shifting into the cinematography, I mean, the color tones and the choices, especially when the credits roll at the end, that's a unique style. So want to talk about the process of the visuals of the cinematography? That'd be really neat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just like how we opened the movie with a song in the opening credits, we have another song at the end credits, that kind of brings it home and makes you think about the victims and think about the heaviness of this case, and again, humanizing them, and also leaving the audience thinking about the movie and thinking about the victims and all the unsolved cases out there. We were definitely inspired greatly from the West Mesa murders, which is like a central, storyline for the film. But at the same time, we were inspired by many other true crime stories that we kind of blended it with, and took our own creative liberties to tell this story kind of in a non-traditional way from your normal serial killer thrillers. Our goal was to bring awareness, like you said earlier, what you've gotten from it. That was our goal. I mean, of course, it be entertaining. We don't want to glorify the serial killing subject matter, but we want to use it to bring awareness and hopefully help solve cases.
Definitely, definitely. Like one more techie thought. So what did y'all shoot on, and how many days were you on set, and how many locations were you at shooting this?
Oh yeah, so to answer part of your previous question too, yeah, we actually shot on the red cameras, red full frame cameras, and our style was to give it a realism effect to the cinematography with the colors and everything. We had to recreate 2009 Albuquerque, New Mexico, and make it gritty and make the colors fit that time period and that environment. And at the same time, with the red cameras, you have mobility and flexibility with lighting, working, at night, and being a little bit more diverse with your color palette in those kinds of environments. So the DP, Josh Rice and we took a non-traditional approach of blending different styles of cinematography into one film. Sometimes you'll see the traditional, cinematic, lockdown shots or smooth, motion shots. And then at times you'll see the handheld grittiness and kind of rawness of things. So, it was meant to be a blend of all of those different styles.
Yeah, I loved in the beginning where it was like moving. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going on this journey. I don't know what it is yet, but like I really love the opening and how it seemed like it was handheld, like it was like me like going through it. And then how many days was the shoot? How many shoot dates did y'all have?
It was about 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
4 weeks with pickups and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, let's get more into the story. I mean, how did the project come to you? I know you are a co-writer on it and an actor in the film. So, did you write the film and then go to Asif? Like, how did that process from the birth of it?
So yeah, originally I developed the script, the first draft with Hank Bird, and then we brought it to Asif where we had to develop some more things to it, and Koji came into the picture as well, the other writer. And once we got everybody together and we started hashing out some other things, it developed into what we were trying to make it into. And from there, um, we got funding, and we went through the whole process.
Wonderful. And since you are the co-writer, did were you already set up for that role in mind, or did it happen in the process?
Well, yeah, I had the role in mind because I knew some of the girls also. um I knew a lot of what went on in the streets. I wasn't always uh you know uh walking the straight and narrow, so to speak. So I knew a lot of the victims, and
The girls.
yes, I did. And
From the West Mesa murders.
from the West Mesa murders. And I was in that life at one point when I was younger. So I brought some of that experience and those situations and incorporated them into the project. And as
Wow.
in the beginning, we just wanted to really raise awareness with this project because we're girl dads.
Yeah, it's super important. And, congratulations on telling and sharing the story in such a way. And, since you actually have one foot in it, like 50 talks about in his book, The 50th Law with Robert Greene, he's like, when he went and worked at Interscope for a year, he's like, you can be a spectator on the bleachers, but he wanted to be in the game and and understand the business. So, like, since you have been authentically in the story that you told, and it's real raw and proper with the minute details that are so important. So thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. Yeah. And then how is it acting for you in the project and being directed by Asif?
Well, Asif and I, we have history as far as him directing me, so that part was easy. It was just fun bringing the character to life. Actually, being a writer and watching somebody bring your words to life is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, like Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I told my mom and dad are in Greece, and I'm like, yo, and I like told them, you got to go watch this movie, but it's going to be video on demand on the 2nd, and then in theaters July 5th. So
Yeah.
people can see a video on demand right away, which is really exciting.
It'll be, getting out there in, all over the world in all the different territories.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, we've said it a few times, but it's so important to share this story and bring awareness to the people we love and care about, and the people who just tune into what we're subscribing to. So that's wonderful. Okay, so I mean, you kind of look like a younger 50. You know what I'm saying? I'm like watching this. I'm like, yo, like you kind of look like a younger 50. So how is
He's younger than me. That's the funny thing.
is he really?
He's 47. I'm 53.
Oh my gosh. Holy shimoles. I love 50. He's so sweet. We did 2 films together. Yeah, The Ballad Tenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, and we did Righteous Kill together. He's a big teddy bear. He's so sweet and kind and so great to work with. How was your experience working with 50?
It was fantastic. I mean, he was, like you said, he's like a big teddy bear, very gentle soul, and he cracks jokes, and he's got a great personality, as you know, and he had a good time. But at first, I think it took him a little time to get used to the uniform and playing a police chief and seeing himself as that authoritative figure. And he did a great job. I mean, you're going to see a whole different side of 50 Cent that we're not used to seeing. And short little story, when we were shooting the press conference scene, he went completely off book. So he got so into the character, he didn't even want to, have the notes in front of him. Because usually in press conferences, chief of police, they'll have notes in front of them at the podium, and they look down and up, and they engage with the, journalists. But in this, he wanted to be off book and just have it memorized and really be into it. And every take he delivered 100%. And, his commitment was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him act in a while. And I was able to like watch his journey from when I first met him, and we worked together to the growth of this character. So I definitely see the craftsmanship, the sophistication, and the quality of choices. So I'm really excited for his journey, and it's great to witness. So beautiful. So okay, let's shift into Mel Gibson. I mean, how did that happen?
So Mel was our first choice for the character Petrovick, because the character also evolved a lot throughout the script writing process over the years, and he kind of became the backbone of the story and kind of connecting, all the little pieces and pursuing, the serial killer and everything, to where we needed somebody of that caliber to be able to bring that range for that character, and also to, um, have that heaviness of a loss that he's experienced himself, and the motivation that keeps him going even at his age to, find justice for other people, which is a very powerful role. And I couldn't have thought of anyone better than him. And so obviously, we had a crazy vision that we followed through with, and offered him the role and sent the script to him. And once he got to read it, he understood our vision, and came on board, and then the rest is history. And all the other pieces kind of fell in place and came together.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and thank you for your time. We're just gonna wrap it up here. I know you gentlemen are super busy. I really want to hone in on honoring the police staff, because a lot of people in the world, it's easy to shame and blame and ridicule, authorities. But you really took a stance showing how they work, and show layers of what's happening within the system, to call out what happens in the system, to give people more of an eye view of what's happening. Because people are like, oh, this is happening, or whatever they think injustice is. But you bring through the script details of what actually happened. So to have the policemen busting their own people on the inside, I think there's like new onion layers to it. But I loved how you were specifically honoring the police officers. So if you want to just share lastly, like what that meant for you in society, to show like these people are, protecting us, although they may seem like the bad guy, they're actually out there doing amazing work for us and protecting us and keeping us clean.
No, it's very important. Thank you for, understanding all the layers. And that was our goal, is to showcase the complexity of all the layers and elements that come together in solving these cases. And we a lot of times think about the victims and see the victims' stories, but you don't really see the law enforcement side of it, and all the layers that they have to, go through, and the challenges they have to face, and all the, corruption that could be involved within their own. And that's across the board. It's not just the Albuquerque Police Department. It's a worldwide issue. I mean, the whole serial killer, the trafficking, the kidnappings, the murders, these are all global issues that we wanted to shed light on, but also what all surrounds it, and who are all affected by these issues, and that goes for both sides, the victims and the law enforcement side. They're victims as well. I mean, they're choosing to commit to these things and give their lives to, finding justice. which is very important to shed light. And I know Vince playing a cop in it, in one of those characters, he had to go through a lot of those emotions too. If you want to share some of what.
Yeah, so I mean, sh- doing all this stuff, I learned a lot of things from some of the people that I played football with. Like, so I played semi-pro football, and a lot of my guys were law enforcement, DEA, everything you could think of, correctional officers. So when we were putting this together, I was able to kind of pick their brains and get a lot of information from them, so I can, so my character can portray, uh, come across real, you know. So we weren't uh, misrepresenting at all. So it was it was just fun being a part of this whole thing, and
Yeah.
being able to bring this to light for everyone to see.
Yeah. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate you for tuning in with me. Wonderful, wonderful. There you have it. Go see Boneyard, and by the time you hear this, it will be out. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.